Why Smart Management believes enterprise software should be built around business outcomes, not feature lists. Picture a regional property manager sitting through yet another weekly operations meeting. The agenda is stacked with updates: which units are vacant, which contractors haven't responded, which maintenance requests are aging, and which numbers don't match last month's report. 2 hours in, the team hasn't solved a single problem. They've just reviewed the pile. That scene is precisely what the team behind Smart Management set out to eliminate. Built over 4.5 years and tested across a portfolio of more than 3,000 multifamily units, Smart Management is a business operating system designed around one deceptively simple philosophy: enterprise software should be evaluated by what it changes in the business, not by how many features it contains. It's a distinction that sounds obvious. In practice, the property technology industry has spent years building the opposite. The feature trap that slows organizations down. Most enterprise software is sold on capability. The pitch usually centers on a long list of modules, integrations, and dashboards that promise to give teams more visibility and more control. Organizations buy the promise, deploy the tools, and then spend months discovering that the software organizes their problems rather than solving them. The pattern shows up clearly in property management. Teams end up coordinating across disconnected texts, emails, and phone calls, each channel operating as its own silo. Work gets missed. Accountability erodes. By the time a financial report surfaces a problem, weeks or months have already passed. Smart Management's development team recognized this early. Their stated objective was never to build a better database. It was to build a system that could help property management companies increase revenue, reduce expenses, and shorten timelines. Those three outcomes became the platform's North Star, shaping every workflow, automation, and design decision from the first phase of development through the fourth. How outcome-driven software architecture actually works. The difference between feature-driven and outcome-driven software architecture isn't cosmetic. It's structural. Feature-driven platforms give users tools and leave the operational logic to the people. Outcome-driven platforms embed operational logic directly into the software. The system itself carries organizational knowledge: what needs to happen, when it needs to happen, and who is responsible for making it happen. Smart Management approaches this through an integrated workflow engine. Organizations define their standard operating procedures and business rules inside the platform. From there, event-driven and time-based automations create, prioritize, and assign work without requiring a manager to manually remember every step. As the company explains it, the goal is to automate what an experienced property manager would naturally do, allowing teams to focus on higher-value decisions instead of repetitive administrative work. The practical effect is accountability that doesn't depend on any single person's memory or attention. Critical tasks get completed consistently. Missed steps decrease. Execution across the organization becomes more reliable. This is what separates a digital operations platform from a collection of software tools. The tools sit on the shelf until someone picks them up. The platform runs the operation. AI is an execution layer, not a feature. Artificial intelligence has become one of the most misapplied terms in enterprise SaaS. For many platforms, AI means a search function that surfaces related records, or a chatbot that answers basic questions before routing users to a help page. The functionality is real. The operational impact is thin. Smart Management's fourth development phase introduced AI throughout the platform with a different objective: accelerating the work that's already happening rather than adding a new category of work for teams to manage. The practical applications include voice-driven workflows that reduce the friction of data entry in the field, automated documentation of property conditions using photos and contextual information, analysis of operational and financial data to generate actionable recommendations. Intelligent virtual agents that assist tenants and applicants with routine questions before escalating complex issues to the management team. Each application targets execution speed. The point isn't that the software can do something intelligent. The point is that the organization moves faster and makes fewer errors because of it. This is what AI business software looks like when it's built around business outcomes rather than technology demonstrations. The intelligence is embedded in the workflow, not displayed as a standalone feature. A single source of truth across every stakeholder. One of the most persistent operational costs in property management isn't a line item anyone tracks. It's the time spent talking about problems instead of solving them. Teams gather information, cross-reference reports, reconcile conflicting updates from different systems, and then meet again to agree on what's actually happening before they can decide what to do about it. Smart management addresses this through a mobile-first, integrated operating environment that keeps every stakeholder connected to the same real-time data. On-site staff, regional managers, corporate leadership, owners, and investors all operate from one source of information rather than separate systems that produce separate reports. The company describes the shift this way. Weekly operational meetings stop being reviews of what happened and start being conversations about solving problems, removing obstacles, and making forward-looking decisions. Teams spend less time gathering information and more time taking action. That shift has a measurable financial dimension. When operational issues are visible in real time, leaders can intervene before those issues affect occupancy or revenue. The lag between a problem occurring and a decision being made collapses from months to days, or from days to hours. Faster decisions mean shorter timelines. Shorter timelines mean lower carrying costs and stronger returns. This is the core logic of outcome-driven enterprise property technology. The software doesn't just show you the business. It changes how fast the business moves. What Smart Management's design philosophy signals for enterprise SaaS? The approach Smart Management represents isn't unique to property management. It reflects a broader shift in how serious enterprise software companies are thinking about value delivery. For years, the SaaS model rewarded feature expansion. More integrations, more modules, more configurability. The competitive logic made sense in markets where buyers evaluated software primarily by what it could theoretically do. But organizations have grown more sophisticated. Buyers now ask harder questions about what actually changes after implementation, and those questions are reshaping what enterprise software has to deliver to compete. Outcome-driven platforms share a few defining characteristics that separate them from conventional tools. Operational logic is embedded in the system, not left to users to reconstruct manually. Automation targets execution consistency rather than just data collection. AI accelerates existing workflows instead of creating new ones to manage. Reporting connects operational activity directly to financial performance. The platform serves as a connected operating environment rather than a set of independent modules. Smart Management's architecture reflects all five. And because the platform was built by a team with direct ownership and operational experience across more than 3,000 units, the design wasn't theoretical. Every workflow was refined through practical application before it shipped. That grounding matters more than it might seem. The difference between a feature that looks good in a demo and a feature that survives contact with real operations is the difference between software that gets bought and software that gets used. Building toward a business operating system for service-based industries. Smart Management's current focus is multifamily property management, but its design reflects a longer arc. The platform was built to scale beyond a single market. Over the next 12 months, the company plans to expand into investor management, vendor management, strategic purchasing, and cost optimization. From there, the roadmap moves into construction management, maintenance operations, and trade service businesses. Each expansion follows the same framework: workflow automation, AI-assisted execution, financial intelligence, and connected data applied to a new operational context. The company describes its long-term goal as a unified operating system that helps service-based businesses run more efficiently and make better decisions, regardless of the industry they serve. The ambition is large, but the logic is consistent with everything the platform already does. When the core architecture is built around outcomes rather than features, it can be adapted to new problems without being rebuilt from scratch. That scalability is itself a design outcome. Most feature-driven platforms hit a ceiling when they try to expand because their architecture was built to solve a specific problem in a specific way. Outcome-driven platforms, by contrast, solve for how organizations execute, which is a challenge that doesn't change much from one industry to the next. Back in that weekly operations meeting, the manager who spent 2 hours reviewing problems finally has a different kind of meeting to look forward to. One where the software has already tracked the tasks, flagged the gaps, and routed the work. The conversation starts at the solution, not the pile. That's not a feature. That's a different way to run a business.